welcome to the final Distinctive People Leadership podcast for 2024. And this one has a little twist. Throughout 2024, we have spoken with a range of amazing individuals who all have highly creative interests and skills that have shaped their approach to life and leadership. These interests have included cookery, writing, art, poetry, and music. And all the podcasts have been led by our very own Penny Aspden. So I'm delighted to turn the tables a little and get Penny's perspective on her conversations this year. Penny, hello and welcome.
Hello, Denise, and thank you for the opportunity to peek inside the podcast host's experience. This is a new one on me, giving me the chance to reflect on what has been a stimulating and enriching foray into the creative lives of such talented leaders. Having spent last year exploring my own creativity, linked to my role as an executive coach and how best to resource myself, this was a real treat, and I would encourage our listeners to visit the podcasts on the Distinctive People website if you've missed any.
Thanks very much for that, Penny. So, as you've said, you've had so many varied conversations this year, Penny. When you reflect on these,
how would you now answer the question, what is creativity?
Well, that is a great question, Denise. And thinking about our guests this year, I would say that creativity has limitless boundaries and is a place where people find their flow, their energy, their love of life, and the unique way of expressing it. What's interesting is that I think all of our guests have shared or plan to share their creativity with others. So therefore, creativity is a gift to the creator and to the audience who benefit from the process.
Oh, wow. Creativity is a gift. I love that. So whilst all of the interests have been diverse, what are the common themes that have come through for you?
Well, one of the standout themes is the passion and the enthusiasm. Everyone I spoke to became more joyful and animated when they talked about their creative interest. And you really got a sense that the interest, whether it was writing, poetry, creating art, music or cooking, it fueled them as a person and fueled them in their work. And it made them a better leader. And quite often there was an overlap between their creative interest and their work. It blended together. For example, Kate's love is poetry, and she has skillfully brought poetry into leadership and development and engagement and into the workplace, and is regularly prompting people to think about their own creativity. The other one has to be about creativity leads to the act of giving and our sharing talents in the world, whether in a small way or on a wider scale. Guests have conveyed a sense of gaining greater peace and contentment through the act of being creative. You get the sense that it keeps them grounded, and it just feels like a prescription for improved well-being.
There have been a number of surprises along the way as I've listened to the podcast. It makes you think about things that you wouldn't necessarily do. What has surprised you and what have you learned in particular?
Yeah, surprises. I think one of them is how practicing a craft, such as the way Francesca's been developing his cooking demos on YouTube, or Steve's been writing his first novel, it can be really daunting, and it puts you in the learning zone where you're going to make mistakes and you learn from those. So finding new ways of creating and honing your craft or whatever your creative interest is, it's just like being a new leader or new in a job. You're pushed outside your comfort zone, it's uncomfortable, and you have to step up to the invitation to fill the space. Another surprise was how some of our guests, for example, part-time DJ Helen, were a bit coy and modest about their creative interest and at times worried about what people would think as it revealed more about them as a person. And in reality, I think it helps others see leaders as real and authentic human beings with exciting interests. And for some, discovering their creativity had a story and blossomed out of misfortune or difficulty. And Lynn is very open about how art found her and how therapeutic it was for her during a difficult period of her life. Then we have the opposite situation where Tom, a highly successful musician and orchestra conductor, found perhaps that was too easy and he decided to enter the social housing world. He wanted to use his leadership skills gained by being a conductor and contribute in a different way. I think the biggest surprise or lesson is how creativity feeds the soul of the leader, and the leader injects more creativity into their work and is a role model to others. It really does become a virtuous circle. And it makes me think there's plenty of room for art, music, poetry, creative writing and more in the workplace. It can be a way to engage people, get their attention, spice up topics which on their own may feel dull. So listeners, what is your creative outlet and how can you bring it into the workplace? Just a few ideas here. How about singing with your team in the festive season? How about a few carols, or develop your own tunes? Or producing a comedy sketch to get the message across? Or as we come to the end of the year, to create a collage to capture achievements. And don't be afraid to remember what you enjoyed as a child and have a play. I'm sure others will thank you for it and they'll enjoy playing too.
What a great challenge to the people listening, Penny. Thank you. And our thanks also to Steve Cook, Francesco Ilia, Lynn Hanford-Day, Kate Jenkinson, Helen Thompson and Tom Norris for all contributing so enthusiastically to our podcast. So that's it for 2024. Thanks for your interest in our podcast, and we look forward to seeing you all again in 2025.